So I'd like to give you some tips on cutting a cable. It sounds straightforward, simple job, but not as simple as you're led to believe. So what happens, you've got a number of strands and they're wound together, and what'll happen is when you go to cut them, if you don't cut them with the correct tool, most people just use a pair of side cutters. They're sufficient. They'll do your electrical cables quite nicely, but then that's not your brake cable or your gear cable. So what will happen is when you bite down on that, it will actually start a process of unwinding. So you might be able to push down hard enough to cut that eventually, which I'm having trouble doing, but what it's done, as you can see here, it's spread it. It's spread it out. So if I did cut through that, I've already started the cables unwinding. So even when I put the little cable tidy on the end, they have started to separate. So that can be a problem down the track that I have found on a number of occasions. Best thing you can do is a proper pair of cable cutters. These are not expensive. You can buy these online somewhere in the vicinity of $10 to $15, and you don't need to spend more than that because they'll stay sharp forever. And what they will do is when they cut round, and there is no stress on any of those cables. The cable end will go on, cable end tidy I should say, go on. Then you can use your pliers and just give that a nip. I tend to give it 2 to 3. You can put a little signature in there if you want, make it personal, and that's on for good. Now that hasn't started to fray. If that touches anything, it won't unwind one. It won't let one go. I bought a brand new bike once, and the mechanic hadn't done this correctly, hadn't cut it properly, and I just found every time I went for a ride and I needed to pull on that to make an adjustment on my gears, a cable would, one of the threads would be coming out, and I'd have to cut it off, and it was a constant nuisance. Now, I'm not going to say it was a good thing what happened, but I went over the bars, I destroyed a derailleur, and I had to replace the cable. And as soon as I did that, I found that his cable, and there's his cable there, you can see that. That's what it was starting to do. It was starting to just fray and fray and fray. That's got nothing to do with the accident. That was the way the cable was mounted, fitted to the bike from new. And I just had constant problems with it. And this what will happen if it's not cut cleanly. And but by having to replace this, I had to replace a new cable. I did it correctly, and it's been great ever since. Now, cables are good in that this, even though it was expensive, it was $300 to replace, but it wasn't electronic, which would have been closer to $1,000 to replace. So I'm sticking with cable in the foreseeable future. Now, just to highlight what I was talking about with the cable fraying, if I go to cut this larger cable, which is not a gear or a brake, but it is a cable, and it'll just give you another idea of what happens when you try to cut a cable, and it's a more noticeable, again, I haven't been able to get through that, but you can see what's happened. It's just started the process, something terrible. Now that's highlighted, that's an extreme, that's what's happened to this cable by using these. Now by using these, I can cut that off nice and smooth, and look at that. That is just the way it was, and cable end tidy will fit on that beautifully. No excess, no no outstanding. Now, if I had to cut that, and that's what I ended up with, how was I going to get that onto there? It didn't matter what I did to try and pull these around, to get them to stay together. They were not going to stay together. So I had totally destroyed that cable just by using the wrong tool. So a simple investment. You can save yourself a lot of headaches, a lot of problems, and they're well worth buying. So I hope that's helped a few people. So I'll talk to you soon.